Chris Sims from NBC Sports Pro Football Talk on his takeaways from the Browns-Titans game.
That was the best day Deshaun Watson's had as a Cleveland Brown quarterback. He looked really good. Made some plays with his legs, looked comfortable in the pocket. And you know me, Mike, I'm not about like all these stats and yards. To me, it was the quality of the footballs, too. It's, perfect spirals, on point, in rhythm. Just looked like Deshaun Watson, where last week the ball was all over the place. He was reluctant to pull the trigger a few times. Had some things mechanically as a quarterback that I looked at and went, man, why is he throwing it like that? So he looked really, really good. And they ran the ball effective enough, to keep you honest in that department. But Cooper got going, Elijah Moore, Donovan People-Jones. So that was good to see for Cleveland. But the story is their defense and the fact that those, the guys they got in the secondary, Denzel Ward's real. That pass rush is real. Their linebackers, the Owusu-Koramoah and Walker are damn good, and Jim Schwartz has really got something going there on that Cleveland defense.
With that, let's welcome in Fred Greetham from the Orange and Brown Report. Fred, I know you wrote an article on Deshaun and the slow starts and the completion percentage. Take us through that and just what you saw in that Titans game.
Well, Dave, his history prior to coming to the Browns, he was the leading or the most accurate quarterback in NFL history with like 1,500 passes when he came to the Browns after the 2020 season. In fact, in 2020, completed like 70% of his passes. So what's been concerning since he's been with the Browns, last year was only 6 games, but he was about 58%. And through the first 2 games this year, he's around 55 the second game, 58 or 59 the first game, but way below what he had done. And he was asked about that last week, and he corrected the media and said, look, I've been a slow starter. If you look back those years, 18, 19, 20, I didn't really start that fast. And he ended up like 66% in 18, 68 and 19 and 70 and 20. So I went back those first 2 games and he was correct. In 2018, a Pro Bowl year, he started in the first 2 games about 58%. He wasn't much better the next couple years. So I just was trying to figure that out. I asked offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt last Thursday, and he said if we knew that he was doing something wrong, we'd fix it. He was almost a little curt about it, but he said he's not worried about it at all. Well, then Watson comes out and throws 82%, 27 of 33, and I can think of at least 1 or 2 that went off receivers' hands where they didn't catch it, but that was the second best completion percentage in his career. You have to complete passes before you have a chance to move the chains and move the ball down the field. And so I think he was taking what the defense was giving him. I think against the Steelers, for example, I think in that game he was just, something was in his head emotionally. He was just out of sync. He was getting penalties. He was frustrated. And a lot of it, might have just been because he was under duress. It seemed like the whole game. But I just think that they got him going with something in that first series, got him some completions. He got some rhythm going, and you can see what happened. And don't forget, he had a 40-yard touchdown taken away on Amari Cooper. He got a 25-yard completion on that, but it had been a 65-yard touchdown pass if they wouldn't have had an inadvertent whistle and blown Cooper out. So he would have thrown for 329 and with 3 touchdowns, would have had a higher, quarterback rating and all that. He still was pulled with 5-6 minutes to go because they were so far ahead. So I think Browns fans should be encouraged. That was the best game of his little 9-game career with the Browns.